Angela already. I can't see how many people and all the pictures of people because I just have it across the top. So I don't know how many new people we have here. But Angela has judged before, and I'm just going to read her bio for you, the very short bio. And I'm going to have to change it from I to she. So, so I may mess up. She's a photographer based in Albany, New York, who just wants to preserve the things that captures her attention. And she does it with a camera in both hands, over her head, behind her back, and even when she's upside down. That I want to see.
Okay. We've all been there.
She started the Capital Region Photography Group, which hopefully many of you are members, I am, in 2008 to share her passion of photography with others. Over the years, she eventually helped people learn what she knows and enjoys supervising and some would call teaching workshops. She has countless photography friends, and this group has become an integral part of her life. Thank you, Angela, for being here and agreeing to judge again. I reviewed, when I selected judges this year, I'll add that I reviewed everyone's judging that I wanted to invite back, and I only brought back the best. So, so anyway, with that, I will let Angela take over and Sean.
Hey, welcome everybody to our first competition of the new season. Hope everybody had a great summer.
Yeah.
Today's competition is the assigned topics. Assigned topic 1 was coffee. Assigned topic 2 is fences. And let me share my screen here. Make sure everything's working. 1 second. Everybody see that?
Well, I can.
Can you?
Yes.
All right, good. All right, we're good to go. All right, for the assigned topic 1, we have 32 entries. We have 5 places and 5 honorable mentions. And to kick it off, our first image is Coffee Meditation, Janice Pritchett.
Am I supposed to do my thing now?
Yes, you may now do your thing.
Okay. Let me just move my microphone. Okay, so first of all, as I was looking through, I didn't look at any of the images in the thumbnails. So as they came up on my screen, I viewed them as a slideshow. So my reactions would be as authentic. So when I first saw this image, I really, of course, liked the lighting and the shadows. And it's just a really nice, peaceful place to have a cup of coffee. And so I just picture that this is actually opened up a part of their life and shared it with people through a common everyday image. The lighting, like I said, the shadows is really nice. If I could critique anything for a change in this image, the back left corner, which looks like some kind of piece of furniture perhaps, I would have maybe darkened that out just a little bit, just so my eye wouldn't be pulled quite off into that corner, because the light is meeting our eyes naturally up to that left side of the image. So I would have probably prevented that so my eye wouldn't wander off the table from the pretty setting that we see before us. But otherwise, I thought it was just a really nice common theme, and I love that this person shared that with us.
Okay, next image is Coffee Clutch, Neil Shapiro.
Oh, I really thought this was a fun, common scene, and we all walk past it every single day of our lives, pretty much. And I have to say, I love the moment and the facial expressions, and there's a lot going on. The guy in the background on his phone, and the dude on the right drinking his coffee and his bag of stuff, and of course the couple there. Primary focal point, and they're just really engrossed in the conversation, and the dude on the left kind of really just comfortable and relaxed, and it's just a really nice moment of this people's everyday life, and it was a nice scene to see.
Okay, next up is beans, beans, beans. Sean Sullivan.
Oh, the bean, there were quite a few bean pictures. So I take it y'all went to a nice event one day. And I thought that was really cool to see. The beans are really beautiful, and they make such a great subject for photography. So in this image, I really I like the overhead view. It gives a angle of perspective to the image, and of course, there's some different tones of light going on as you wander around. And I love that, I'm kind of looking at all of the beans here. And of course, I think really seeing the I don't even know what you would call the device here that's rotating the beans around, but I really like the curvature and the angle and lines that are coming off from it. So it really is a really nice picture, and the sharpness and the detail is really eye-catching.
Next up is Coffee at the Track. Dale Marie Schreiber. Hope I said that right.
And I thought this was really cool. The Dunkin' cup, and I kind of wish the name was written on the cup. You know how they do that when you go to coffee, but it's just really a nice placement photo. It shows where you are and what's happening around you, and so it's a clear and precise capture of the topic. So thanks for sharing.
Next up is The Machine, Doll Smith.
This is really cool. I really like the whole image. The bulldog in the background, and of course being behind the scenes, seeing what's happening to make everybody's cup of joe. It's really neat to see. I don't drink coffee ever, so I never get to see the behind the scenes stuff here, but I really like seeing how we can get a peek of what goes on behind the scenes. And of course, the color tones of the image are really nice. All the reds, I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but all the reds in the background, there's a peak on the left, and then right under the dog's nose and over in the right corner, there's like a Rubbermaid tote. All the reds are like the same color tone, and I don't know why that caught my eye, but you probably laugh at me for saying this, but I really thought that was kind of cool, because normally like these oddball colors will distract your eyes, but they don't, and they're all like evenly placed. So it really helps keep your central focal point is really where it should be, and that of course the little orange towel will kind of draw your eye down to see what's happening there. But I really thought this was a cool shot from behind the scenes, and it gave me a new perspective. I got to see something new.
Okay, next up is Pacific Lighthouse, Neil Shapiro.
Oh, I when I first glanced at the image, I thought, what does this have to do with coffee? But I look closer, and of course I see the little coffee sign, and so it was kind of a unique take on this challenge. And I really actually like the clouds in the background. This it almost seems like steam coming up from the vent on the left of the building, and right next to this little quaint coffee shop that's right here in this village. And I just think it was really a unique shot, and I wouldn't have thought to have placed that in a coffee challenge. So kudos for a unique image to share.
Next up is Coffee with the Cops, Thomas Whitmore.
And this is just a great shot of somebody enjoying their morning coffee during their workday. I see donuts and a table of goodies going on back there. And, I would have thought originally it would have been a cool morning, but I see the police officer in short sleeves behind there, so and not too much foliage changing yet. But you know, this is what it's like in life that happens around us, seeing everybody in that very integral part of their day having a cup of coffee. Thanks for presenting this photo with the bright pop of color.
Next up is Morning Coffee, Dale Marie Schechner.
You know, this is I thought this was a really cool shot, and I love the steam coming out of coffee, and I love that it looks like maybe it's on their back deck or something like that, and they're just sitting there, imagine, listening to the birds in the morning. I would have liked to see maybe a little bit more of the glasses that is in the left corner, lower left corner, just because, you know, maybe somebody perhaps is reading a newspaper, and I think that would have added a little bit more of storytelling to the image. So having just that little hint of the glasses, I think, throw them right in there and just, you know, add them in. And if you didn't want them in, you can always clone it out a little bit. But the good capture with the steam, because sometimes that can be really challenging to get it to show up clearly in a photo. So you did a really good job with that.
Next up is Coffee Choices, Marguerite Hill.
This is really cool shot. I really loved the now, I don't know if this was of course, I don't know if this is a photo of an artwork or if it was just photoshopped or edited to, or even film perhaps. It was just the grainy texture is fabulous. It really adds to the vibe and the aura that this image presents. And of course, the little sign in the background that says "Eat" is really a whimsical touch to this photo. And the composition I thought was pretty good. I probably personally wouldn't have cut out the very tippy top of that canister in the background, but the image is strong enough to, you know, to see what's going on without it. But I really actually have to comment on how much I really love the green texture.
Okay, next up is Eeny Meeny Coffee Beanie, Donna Funk.
What a great title for the image. This was one of the images that I thought was really nice to see with a close-up of the coffee bean and to see how much character they have. And you did a great job with presenting that to your viewers. You get to see a lot of texture and a lot of detail, and just each bean is so unique, and we can clearly see that. So I think you did a wonderful job. I love your depth of field. You had a really nice depth of field with this shot, as of course macros love to do for us, but thanks for that. And I think your color tone seems like it was very natural light, so you did a great job.
Next up is Coffee, Harmonica, and Solitude, Phil Luvo.
And this is kind of an interesting photo as well. You know, I just thought the position of the guy playing his harmonica was really unique. He doesn't really look very comfortable, but but he's got his morning cup of coffee right next to him, and he's just kind of hanging out doing his thing. And you have a really good composition with this image, so you're showing direction, placing him on the left third of the photo, and I thought the exposure was really, really nicely done as well.
Next up is Coffee Cowboys, Sean Sullivan.
And this was so funny because immediately I was drawn to the little figurines on top of the saddle, and I kind of giggled, and I thought, okay, well, that photo did its job, you know. It was a really cool shot of the entire coffee shop, which is really, really cute, actually. But aside from that, the beans and the machine also really add to the action of to support having a saddle on top of the machine. So it adds a lot of whimsy, this whole image, and a lot of time and place. And it's really a nice capture of, again, that everyday life that coffee can bring to all of our lives, and just these moments that, we never stop to think how we, how so many people go to the same place, but they don't even see the same thing. And so I wonder how many people never even noticed the saddle up there, but I certainly did. And of course, you did. And I think this is a little shop I might want to kind of visit myself and take a peek at.
Professor Job is in Albany.
Oh, is that on Wolf Road?
Yes.
Oh, I've been there, but I've never been in the coffee shop. So there we go. That's really cool. But yeah, this is really, really cute. I really love the vibe and the energy that's kind of going around in the photo. And of course, having that the lasso and the saddle up there is so cute. It's so fun.
Okay, and next up is Just One More Sip for the Road, Jonna Kaywood.
This was I thought this was such a really cool shot. And the beans, like I said, they have so much detail and texture. But the pattern, oh, can you hear me?
You're a little
Can
muffled.
you still hear me?
A little muffled.
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm so sorry. My speaker shut off. I'm sorry about that. I'll start over. So when I first saw this image, again, the detail on the coffee beans, and I love how they're scattered around the coffee cup and on the plate. It really adds, a little bit of depth, dimension, and texture to this photo. And of course, the pattern in the coffee itself is really pretty. So you did a really nice job. The exposure is nice, and the overall detail it does get your attention. But thanks for showing this picture. And then having a half drunk cup of coffee is, it just kind of adds to the whole supporting theme of coffee.
Okay. Next up is Coffee Beans, Joe Catronio.
And this is really nice to see the handling of some coffee beans cupped in the hands as opposed to in a coffee cup. And so I really thought that was a nice touch to see somebody throw a shot like that in there. So, you think coffee, you immediately think of liquid. And so I'm glad to see that you used a different form of cup for this image. And you did a nice job with the color tone as well.
Next up is Steaming Coffee, Marguerite Hill.
Yeah, this is cute. Stewart's, everybody gets their coffee from somewhere. You got a really nice steam coming out, and I can just place that the placement of this cup is right where it should be in the Stewart shop, one of the little benches there on a little table near a light, sitting there just waiting to start your day. And what I have to point out when I first saw this image is one of the first things I loved about this image is in the bottom, it says, "I'd like to retire." And I just kind of laughed at that. So I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but I don't know if that was an intended purpose of this shot, but that really just got my attention. The social media icons right next to "I'd like to retire."
Next up is K-Cup Invader, Linda Tomasulo.
Oh my gosh, this is really fun. I really, first of all, I really like that you created a scene with coffee. So you tried to add your own personal touch into it. And I think that really made the image personable. So I really thought it was a fun photo, and just, how do you make your decision over what kind of coffee you got? Because there's so many options. But the colorful cup, we all have a favorite cup. I don't, like I said, I don't drink coffee, but I do drink tea, and I have my favorite cup. So I just imagine this is your favorite cup, and you have your favorite teas and coffees in front of you, and whatever that fabric is, or the textile that you have around, is really a nice choice to complement the color tones of everything. And then the colors that you have are balanced really well, so you're just drawn right to the tea in the cup right away. And your composition is also really beautifully placed for everything.
Okay, next up is Coffee at Connery. Janice Pritchett.
Oh, I love Connery. I went there last year and with a boot on my foot because I had broken my toe and I was supposed to go hiking, and I ended up going there. So it was a nice place to be able to go when you're hobbling around. Beautiful scenery, and beautiful composition, and of course out on a cool Adirondack morning with a nice cup of hot cocoa or hot coffee, and is right where you want to be in the Adirondack. So I thought that the expression on your subject's face is really nice, and even if they would have been looking out at the mountain, that would have added a nice touch as well. So you have some room to play around with this image. But you did a really nice supporting theme of something a little bit different, and putting somebody in a place where they truly would be having coffee. So you didn't have to create or make it, it just happened naturally. And I thought this was a really beautiful shot altogether.
Next up is Early Coffee Roaster, Marty Banham.
This is a really neat shot. I had never seen, any process to coffee before, but I thought you had nice even composition with the angles presented before you in the machine. And of course, everything is really nice and sharp, and it just shows like some age and history right before you. So I thought you did a really nice job with your exposure and composition, and this image is really cool. I think also maybe having a little bit of fun with this photo too, and I think this would have been a really great black and white even. The metal and the royal sign would have stood right out and popped right out, I think even a little bit more. So you can go back and maybe try it and see what you think. But I thought this was an excellent composition and a photo to show of a different perspective of copy.
Next up is Morning Latte, Kim Koza.
I really, really love the overall textures going on with this photo. It's so pretty, and of course, having a little bit of an artistic capture in here. The colors on the top balancing down, and the shadows, I think really support the image really well, even though you have a little bit of bright hot spot there. I just think this is such a really pretty photo and a nice piece of wall art. Actually, this could be really hung up anywhere, and people would appreciate it. So I thought you really added a nice, interesting touch. A little bit different from what other people have done. You did a really, really nice presentation.
Next up is All Hail Courage the Caffeinator, Phil Olivo.
This was another shot that made me laugh when I saw it, and I thought, oh, this was too cute. Again, the composition's really good. The placement of your princesses is really such a fun, whimsical touch. And of course, the big bad coffee machine maybe in the background is what I would be calling it. But I thought that was super fun photo. And I think the only thing that could have made this a little more fun is if you had some tipped over cups spilling out, and then maybe a fallen princess, right? But I thought this was a really fun shot. It made me kind of giggle and laugh right from the beginning, and I'm sure that's what the purpose of it was. So you did a great job.
Up is morning coffee, Dan Steen.
Oh, this was too funny. Another one that made me giggle when I saw it, and I was, the first thing I wanted to do was zoom right in and see what was written on the little protective sleeve around the cup. But I imagine this guy's like so engrossed into what he's watching, and he can't take his eyes away from it, and he has to bring the coffee cup up to his mouth. So whatever was happening is really interesting, and I kind of want to know more about it. But really beautiful skin tone. The color tone in this image altogether is really, really nice. The yellow cup and the red shirt, you really did a great capture. You didn't cut his arm off in any way. And I thought his facial expression was really nice to, complement the fun, position he's in and everything. So this is really well timed. You did a nice shot with this. You did a good job.
Next up is Ken, morning coffee, Paula Keith.
This was so pretty, and I can't help but wonder, how did you get all that steam? Because I don't know like what your rules are with adding or enhancing the images, but I really thought that the spoon, this really unique spoon, or if it's a tea strainer that you have your coffee in, but it's really beautiful. The colors are really nice, and they're not bright and vibrant, but they're a little more subdued, which adds a little softness to support the overall, depth of field, and of course the softness coming out from all of that heavy duty steam that's coming out from there. So, and the nice rich black coffee that's in the teacup. It was really beautiful, and I love the shadows coming in from the natural window light. So I thought you did a really nice job with this photo.
Okay, our honorable mentions. First up, Coffee Talk, Rich Schreibstein.
Oh, I chose this one as an honorable mention because I actually debated. I really liked the pictures that actually included people, and I really had a hard time. Ultimately, I chose this one because I really have to say, that Coffee Talk title really enhanced the photo. It complemented it, excuse me. And they're just having their conversation, and clearly they're just comfortable and just enjoying each other's talk. And I really love the expression on the woman's face who's sitting in the chair, her hand up to her face, and it's not posed in any way. And I really appreciated that. And I thought the composition was really nice, and the exposure also was really nice, which is tough to do with them being so backlit. But I chose this image just, I thought, it just really supported the title, and just kind of hanging out together over a cup of coffee.
Next honorable mention is Feel the Heat, Marty Bannon.
And a couple of the images have the beans cupped, and I really liked them both. Ultimately, the reason I chose this one over the other, so you won't feel bad, is that I think this image supported the cup of beans in the hands just because there's a placement. It's not just darkness of hands with beans in it. This particular image has a location attached to it, and a story that is being supported. So he's pulling out these beans, they're all being, processed down below, and in the machine that's supporting the image. And of course, the color tone and the ageism of the image was really well supported. So, and of course the texture and the detail that you get in all areas of this image were really nicely captured, and it just got my attention.
And next honorable mention is Anatomy of a Coffee Bean, Joe Catronio.
And this image I thought was, I love the colors, a nice pop of red, and the coffee bean, having the macro close-up shot of the coffee bean, and seeing the pieces and parts of it. And I never looked at coffee so closely as I did when looking through all of these images. So all of you had taught me a little bit of something. And I never imagined so much detail and texture and interesting facts about a coffee bean. And of course, this image just, nails those features down for us all to see and appreciate. So that was the reason why I chose this image.
And our next honorable mention, Cup of Joe, Kim Koza.
Again, this one was really a little bit of a artist effect here. It just seems like a nice piece of wall art, or something I can imagine being sold out and about somewhere. I thought the pottery and the table, it was just so pretty. The softness and the overall tones are really, really pretty. The composition again is really nice as well. The bright white line from the edge of the table is a little bit distracting for me. I think if that could be, maybe toned down just a tiny bit, it'd be a little bit more evened out, because if you kind of focus on it and then you can't unsee it. So I hope I didn't ruin it for you, Kim, but I just, overall, this is such a pretty picture.
Okay, our last honorable mention, One Cup is Not Enough, Robert Wright.
Well, this image, doesn't have the technical aspects of some of the other areas that other people presented. But the reason I ultimately chose this is just because I laughed, and it brought me joy, and emotion was immediately attached to this photo, and I just appreciated that, right down to the fun cup with the bass on it. I'm assuming it's a bass. And so I just thought it just made me laugh in a way that I was not expecting. So I just wanted to give you a shout out for this photo. You did your job, and you had a little fun with your friend, and it showed. And I just kind of wanted to honor you back for bringing me a little bit of joy.
And our winners, in fifth place, Black with 2 cookies, Linda Tomasulo.
Oh, Linda, I love this photo. I have to say, when I first saw it, I'm like, damn, that's cute. It's a nice photo. I have to say your placement of the angles, even comparing them to the texture and the fabric below, it was supporting the pattern of the leaves, and I really immediately that caught my eye, like all the direction, even the direction of the lines reflected in the coffee really got my attention. And of course, having the bite, at least having a bite out of the cookies, add that little bit of personal touch. I don't think the image would have been quite the same if the cookies were untouched. I would have liked to have seen a couple more crumbs though, just for whimsy's sake. But I really thought this was a really nice photo. And again, I love all the direction that's going on in it.
Okay, in fourth place, Roasting, Dow Smith.
Oh, again, I really appreciated seeing the coffee beans like this. And I chose this image. First of all, I love the motion and the movement. I think in some of the other pictures, we didn't really quite see much movement. And in this one, you did. And in the back corner, and a little bit of the blurriness and some of the bar and areas that are not. And so you know that this is doing its job, rotating and spinning all the beans here. And I like that you captured that. And the circles and the the lines that this image has are composed really nicely, which sometimes can be hard to fit, when you're trying to photograph a circular or a round object into a rectangular image. So you have a really good composition, and of course the diagonal line of the bar where it's placed in this image, it all fit together really, really well. And I have to say, I love, of course, orange is a favorite color of mine, and so I really thought the orange color and the beans complemented each other really nicely. So for those reasons, I wanted to place you with this photo.
Okay, third place, to bean or not to be, Nina Kesey.
Another one that made me giggle and laugh, and on top of adding a bit of emotion to this photo, the composition and the colors are superb, I think. And I don't know, I'm assuming this is a little dude that's maybe attached to this cup, but I don't think you added them. But if you did, even more kudos for getting a little creative. But I really love the composition and the colors, and it's very, it's just really sharp, right? And your eye is drawn exactly where you wanted it to go. And I just thought this was a super fun photo, and I really appreciated that you took a moment to really compose everything really well and expose all that white in the background is really dead on. You did a great job.
Okay, in second place, better latte than never, Shauna Kaywood.
This shot is really, really stunning, Jana. I think it's the beans scattered around underneath the cup. I really thought this was such a good exposure and a good creative and artistic shot as well. You have an excellent composition for everything, and the exposure of the cream inside of the cup is beautiful. And of course, the little squiggly lines coming up on the top, I think are just, it's a really, really nice photo. And I really like it a lot. And I think having this beautiful color tone, it's very like that rich, I think we all associate rich color tones with coffee beans. And I think you did a really great job with it. Congratulations.
First place winner, Dream of Crema, Nina Kesey.
And this shot right away, the first minute I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. First of all, the composition is beautiful. The shadow and the light is really nice. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, well exposed photo, and having to, photograph the foliage in with the coffee, it was such a beautiful touch. It added a little bit of fun and whimsy, and it's just a stunning photo, and you definitely deserve to win with this one. Congratulations.
Congratulations to all our winners and all great images.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
So now we got to move on to our assignment 2, which is a little bit of
Close your eyes.
hold on a second, I gotta stop sharing for a second and fix something. So you guys can talk amongst yourself, answer questions. Sorry about that.
No spoilers, Sean.
No, the sorting got all messed up. I don't know why. It does that now and then.
Technology.
Very good job, Angela, and good analysis. Appreciate that.
Oh, it's so hard. I really appreciate everybody's perspectives and their own views. Every image, of course, when you really hear a lot of tough critiquing out there in photography competitions, and and you never want anybody to cry. But at the same time, we all have different views and perspectives on things, and I think the most important thing is that we all love photography, and so if we can share this kind of an intimate part of ourselves for other people to view, we're all going to get it somehow. And while the technical and artistic and creative aspects are going to vary greatly between your advanced and amateur and novice photographers, at the end, everybody saw something that was important enough for them to want to share this image, and we can't lose sight of that, and that's why I try to, just share like what I feel and what I think about the photos, and even for the images that may not be as technically advanced, and even their cell phone shots, versus somebody that has $15,000 worth of gear. There's obviously going to be differences, but it doesn't make it any less important for anybody. So hopefully I just, don't hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want hate mail.
I don't think you'll get it.
Okay, we are all back in sorted order here. That can sometimes be annoying. I think what happens is when if I put it in sort order and I don't change to another folder and I close it.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we are. Assignment 2, fences. We have 41 entries, 5 places, 5 honorable mentions. And we're going to start out with duck fence, Sean Sullivan.
This is so pretty. I really like the composition, and I see this beautiful mallard, hopefully not near a road, but the fence is so, I love the texture and the detail that the image presents. It just, and in fact, what really caught my eye was that beautiful depth of field with the fence in the background. It's like composed perfectly in there. So obviously you have a great eye for the detail anyway, Sean, but I thought that the placement of everything was really beautiful. And of course the duck just right there, just adds the beautiful, even more beautiful touch of nature and texture and detail, and all the beautiful colors and feathers. So it really is just a lovely photo.
And next up is The Gate, Sean Sullivan.
This is really beautiful. I love the different shadings of the wood. In the left the bottom left of the main fence coming up at an angle, and then bringing your eye up towards the right where you see all the locks and the colors that match that same plank of wood. It kind of caught my eye, and I thought the perspective and the angle of the fence as well, like changing from a wired fence to the wood one, was really nice. And of course, even in the background, as your eye's scanning around the scenery, we see there's fencing all along the background. So overall, there's a lot of support going on. And of course, I love the creative effect that you've applied to the grass as well. It's really unique, very painterly. So I thought this was just a really nice photo.
Okay, next up is Broken Fence, Sharon Silversmith.
And I really relate to a picture like this because I'm a gardener myself, and I love puttering around in my garden, and there's always projects. And I don't have any fencing in my yard right now, but I will be adding some. But I just see this is such a project that somebody has to do and has to work at. There's a lot of work involved in here, and it's kind of gardening and is a way of life. And here there's a fence that needs some repair and mending, and the placement of the little old wheelbarrow in front of the broken fence area, and there's a rake or some kind of, you know, tool like leaning up against the railing on the left side. It all supports the theme of work. So I really thought you did a nice job with the composition and including all of that supporting, you know, details into this image with the fence.
Okay, next up is broken fences. Ronald Spear.
The composition of this is really pretty, and I'm glad it's not dead center, but I would have probably liked it to have been placed a little bit more off to the left, just a smidgen. Just, I think that, you know, the true rule of thirds would have probably would have supported that just a smidgen more. But even if you didn't make that change, the image is really nice. And you know, when I'm looking at this photo, I can't help but notice on the left side of the fence, the lawn is maintained and manicured very, very nicely, and on the right side, not so much. And so it really gives an illusion to, you know, what is on the other side of the fence. And so I thought the you know, composition really was nice, and the vertical and the horizontal and the vertical placement of everything. So you did a really nice job. The exposure is nice. The texture and the details is sharp for you to see. And I thought it was really a nice natural fence photo.
Okay. Next up is On the Pacific Coast, Dow Smith.
Wow, this is so beautiful. I definitely, when I was thinking of the fences in the area, I was not expecting to see something up in, I'm guessing Maine or something, but or not Maine, excuse me, out in Upper California, Oregon coast or something like that. And so it was a really nice surprise. So the composition that you have with the weighted fence in the bottom against the, you know, what I can imagine is a very tall, steep cliff right a few steps away. Fence is doing its job. And then, of course, you know, with having, you know, you haven't cut off anything in the background that's supporting, like, you know, the place of where this fence is and the reason why it's there. So you really presented that story very, very well. And I thought the overall, you know, feel and mood of the photo is really nice. And you didn't exclude anything. You know, you've got the placement, you've got a fence doing its job, it's supporting the category. So you did a really nice job with that.
Next up is Caged In, Paul O'Keefe.
A very different kind of fence, and necessary for the little tykes. The color is so beautiful, and of course he's got this cute pop of red, you know, sunglasses in there, so that really kind of blends right in with the red fencing. And I thought that was kind of fun because my eyes are really drawn right there. That red is really attention grabbing, and as you look around the overall image, you think, okay, you know exactly where this kid is, you know what he's doing, and he's safe and protected right in this fence, and this is the way it should be. So you did a really nice photo, and you know, the composition of, you know, the placement for the little kid, his face isn't blocked, you can see his facial expression, and even his little hands are placed really well in between the rungs of this cage. And so I thought you did a really nice job, and I can't really see any areas where you could have improved it at all. I thought you did a nice job.
Next up is Chain Link Fence, Marguerite Hill.
And that's was what I was talking about earlier, how when you're out and everybody sees something and they feel compelled to share it, and this is no exception. It fits that actually perfectly. It's a very common scene that we'll see as we're taking a stroll around the block, and there's repair work and stuff going on, and the fence is being advertised, so you're doing them a favor. But the composition, you did really good. I thought you kept everything as straight as you possibly could, and it just kind of fits all together. And I really thought you did a nice job sharing this with us all.
Okay, next up is Next Stop, Eternity, Phil Olivo.
Oh, what a pretty photo. Of course, you nailed your composition with this, and the exposure is really beautiful. The detail and texture is nice and sharp. And just the fence is actually really beautiful. It's got a lot of old history, and it's clearly depicted in this shot. And I thought it was just really, really nicely done.
Next up is Fencing in Flowers, Alina Kesey.
Such beautiful, beautiful flowers in full bloom, and the white top of the fence. And this can be really a challenging photo to expose for, with having a contrast of the shadows and the darker flowers, and the not overexposing the white fence so it's too hot. And you did a really good job with maintaining all of that and presenting it to us. It's just a really pretty picture. I love the angle of view, and the kind of the leading lines bringing you down towards the right side as you're following it down through the image. So I thought it's just really a pretty photo.
Okay, next up is I Can't Get Out, Sharon Silversmith.
I saw a few pictures with the horses and the fencing, and it's truly stunning. This image was just so gorgeous, or is, excuse me. The only nitpicking thing I have to say is it's a little bit bottom heavy with a little bit of extra grass, and the tippy top of the building is a little bit cut off. I would have maybe encouraged you to shift it just a smidgen, just because I think it would have balanced it just a little bit more. But it's just a really beautiful photo. There's so many lines and directions going on with the fencing that it adds such beautiful visual interest. And of course, having the little horse there, it supports the placement of the fencing. And so I thought you have a really beautiful share with this photo.
Next up is Hilltop Fence, Dale Marie Schechter.
So the nice thing about this photo is that you have this nice old fence. You place yourself right up to it, and it's right in a location where this fence clearly does its job every day. There's people working and maintaining their property, and you can see somebody in the background in the back right. Of course, the house is on the other side of the hill, and up on the left, there's like a bench and chairs and maybe a hammock, it looks like, and this beautiful tree. So the fence is placed in such a beautiful property, and you did a good job trying to capture all of that and presenting it to us. And I think if you were to redo this photo and place yourself there again, I would encourage you just to stand maybe a little bit to your left, so you can have the image coming a little bit more from the fence, coming a little bit more from the right side, and then turn yourself a little bit towards the fence, and you'll get a little bit more of a leading lines, like without quite such a harsh transition of it just starting right in front of you. It'll kind of blend in and soften itself in place just a little bit more. But, you know, even if you didn't do that, the image that you presented to us is truly beautiful. You have a great exposure in the grass and the sky, the soft clouds, and the placement of everything is really beautiful. It's a beautiful area. Thank you, Dale.
Next up is Guarding the Saints, Neil Shapiro.
Oh, such a stunning photo, Neil. The church is beautiful, and of course the old iron fence where you can see some of the rusting spots on it. It's a lot of history there, and it's such a gorgeous fence as it is, and the placement of it. And this is what I was talking with Dale. Sometimes having the fence blend right in from the corner or the edge. It just this is exactly kind of what I was trying to encourage Dale to maybe to see for his own, changing and perspectives of viewing things. So you actually did a great job with the placement of this fence. It's blending, coming right in off from the right side of the photo, leading you right down to the left, and the church is right there. So it's just a stunning, stunning scenic photo.
Okay, next up is Horse Country, Linda Thomasula.
Oh, what a fun photo. Again, this place is really magical and beautiful. And this is, again, what I was talking about with maybe eliminating a little bit of grass and having the fence right down bottom weighted. And this is a perfect replica of what I was trying to present to the other image. And of course, the photo of the horse looking right at us, and which I'm assuming he's rubbing up his chin or against the fence post. But what a fun, pretty photo. I really thought the composition was great. You placed your horse on the thirds, and all of the fencing and the placement of it is just really well balanced out. Wonderful job.
Okay, next up is Squirrely Fence, Donna Funk.
Oh, this is, again, a photo. My laugh was authentic when I saw this. It's so great. The fence this is something we all are always seeing, is squirrels on the fence, or even chipmunks running across, birds even perhaps. And so this common scene, you managed to make a really fun photo out of it. What I really like that the originally when I first saw it, I thought, oh, I wish it was just a hint warmer overall, just because. But the color tone, actually, I changed my mind on that, because seeing the color in the tail really adds the warmth and the brown tone of the squirrel. I think if you were to warm up the wood at all, it wouldn't have been as realistic as what it probably is as you're looking at it. So, but it was something I thought about, when I first saw the photo, and that matters sometimes, seeing and hearing like what people think and why they feel that way. So, but I think the rule of thirds you did is great job with the squirrel there, because you could have easily placed them anywhere. I think the color tones in the background and the greenery towards the center and towards the right side, all of that color, it really helps lead into the bringing your eye directly to the squirrel on this fence. And of course, the angle that you have the fence at was really nicely captured as well.
Next up is Ocean Fence, Dale Marie Schechter.
Really nice. Again, I think just cutting just a smidgen off from the grass and bottom weighting that fence just a smidgen, gives a little bit more of a perspective to the height of the fence, because as it's taken, I'm a shorty, anybody who knows me, I'm 4'8", so I'm not the tallest person, so this fence probably is taller than me, but I doubt it's taller than most of you. So, that perspective is something to really think about. So especially if we're gonna capture fence dead on like you've done, I think just bottom weighting it just a tiny, tiny bit. It also gives a little bit more of kind of what's going on in the background. But I thought you did a really good job. The fence is coming in at good angle from one side to the other. And of course, the background fence, you know, with the you know, edge of the property line is supporting, and you can see it very well, very clearly. And the, you know, the overall feeling of placement is really evident in this photo. So I think you have a really nice share to for all of us to appreciate seeing.
Okay, next up is Don't Fence Me In, Ronald Spear.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Again, you did a really good job with this whole fencing area, and the horses hanging out. They're just doing what they do. You caught in the background, you clipped the building in a nice way that it's still evident and why it's there and that it needs to be there. So you've included it, you've cropped it really, really well. You know, I thought the exposure, the overall exposure is really nice. I think maybe in a few of these images, maybe just a little more saturation in the color could have just made it pop just a little bit more. But even if you didn't do that, you have a beautiful image that you should be really proud of.
Okay, next is Into the Woods, Neil Shapiro.
Oh, what a stunning photo. And, you know, I'm assuming this is near like Armstrong National Forest or something, but this is a beautiful perspective on the fencing that runs along that path. It's directional, it's guiding you and it's leading you right into the forest. And I thought that the overall photo is truly remarkable. The exposure, the color tone, everything is really beautiful, right down to the curvature and the shadows and the spots of sun coming through the trees. It's just truly beautiful.
Okay, next up is New Mexico Fence, Kim Koza.
Oh, what a fun shot this was to share. You know, I thought the colors are really pretty. You know, the fact that you were walking and saw this image and these rocks placed up here, even the window, the placement of the window, I actually love that the diagonal sunlight is just splitting that window nearly corner to corner. And the rock that's up on the left side, you captured that to kind of start where it begins. And I thought it leads you right down. And what a really, really good eye to have captured all of that together. Even the flowers placed in the background. It's just I thought you did a great job. And, you know, I really think this is a fun photo, and it's just creative. And it really could be a nice piece of artwork. You know, I think balancing out a little bit of the sun on the wood and giving it a little bit more of a pop. It could just add, like in the rocks too, it would just kind of give it like that, a little bit of a wow factor. But even if you did not do that, you did a wonderful job with how you captured this photo.
Okay, next up is Checking Out the Meadow, Thomas Whitmore.
Oh, what a fun photo. These horses are just, they crack me up. They're so cute. Peeking their heads out. And of course, you know, the theme was the fencing. So I couldn't help but notice the horses. But, you know, the fencing obviously is, you know, captured coming right off in this building. And this is the everyday life of a horse being fenced in here, you know, and I kind of have a little bit of emotion attached to this photo for those reasons, because this is what it's like for them. They're peeking, they have just a small window to peek their head out, and they have a fence. They're keeping them in, obviously for their own safety, but at the same time, you know, this image also invokes a little bit, like I said, a little bit of emotion, because there's a feeling of lack of freedom that I feel from this photo. I hope that I didn't ruin this for you, Thomas, but you know, it's always a good thing when you can present emotions in people. So, so with that being said, you know, the composition I thought is pretty good. I would have placed maybe the building just a smidgen more to your left, and then just a smidgen more of the fencing to your right. But just because you could have included a little bit more placing, but I don't know what was out there. So I wasn't there at the time you took the photo, but I thought your composition was really, really good though overall, and the exposure of the sky and the trees and the harsh shadow that you've got crossing with the fence as well is a difficult scene to expose for, and you do a really good job with that as well. So you should be really proud of this photo for bringing me a little bit of emotion, mixed emotions.
Okay, next up is private seating, Joe Catronio.
What a stunning, stunning photo. The Adirondack chairs along with the fence, it adds, your eye is just boom right there, and that's the job that you wanted it to have for us, I'm sure. And then you get to look out at what they're looking at and this beautiful scenery in the background. But the artistic effect that you applied is really beautiful and stunning. The fence placement, the composition that you have, and with the chairs in relation to the fence is placed really perfectly. You couldn't have done it better if you sat there for an hour and kept trying. I think what a great job you did. The colors are so beautiful, and I just love the color tone, the detail in the wood fence and the chairs. They support each other perfectly. Great job, Joe.
Okay, next up is Shrooms Fence, Kim Koza.
Oh, what a fun photo. And you know, I love that you did a silhouetted fence, and such a fun and whimsical one to find at that. And the sky in the background only adds to the beauty and whimsy of this photo. Excellent composition without cropping. The detail on the left start where the fence starts. You probably could have shifted it just a smidgen, just because you are cropping a little bit on the right side, the larger mushroom there. So you could have maybe balanced it out just a smidgen if you wanted to have darkness matching on the left to the right. But what a fun photo, and the details that you captured in the silhouette were really nicely done.
It's Fairground Fences, Rich Schreibstein.
Well, a great black and white, and you have such a good contrast going on between the color tones. So I have to comment on that. You have really nice, rich tones going on, and that fence is just seamlessly coming right out from the bottom of the photo, and you captured the curvature of it very, very well. So I think your placement, as far as the composition goes, was really dead on, and the whole scene is supported by that, with the way the clouds are, and all the clouds actually, especially above the building in the lower part of the horizon, and then just blending seamlessly with the trees, kind of curving right around with you. So I thought you nailed it with the composition on this shot. Great job.
Next up is I think he's supposed to say Dance Partners, Marty Bannon.
Oh, what a great, first of all, the colors in the sky are really beautiful. And you got to capture that cool toned horizon that we naturally will see at those times, at the time of year, the sun's starting to go down, or even if it's rising, you get that cool horizon. So I kind of like seeing how you caught the reality of that. But the fence line placement and the curvature that you have going along is just so beautiful. And we have some competing curves So the way you've presented the photo and you composed it is really, it actually is not fighting each other at all. Because we have this curvature in the tree, and of course the curvature in the mountain in the background, and this beautiful fence line coming in. So I thought you placed everything really, really well, and the color tone is super pretty.
Okay, next up is Round Lake Preserve Walkway, Joe Cotroneo.
Yes, I believe that was Thatcher Park. Okay, so the colors, oh, so pretty, and you've got these fallen leaves on the walkway, and these fence lines. You've got them both starting right at the edges, equally placed, which is perfect. It's perfectly placed. And now we can clearly see the direction of the walkway ahead of us and where we're being guided to go right off into the distance. So you did a great job with the composition and the exposure, having a beautiful color saturation in this photo. I think you should be really happy with this.
Next up is Looking for Greener Pastures, Thomas Whitmore.
Oh, what a sweet photo. I love the horse reaching over this fence, and I thought, your title, kind of was fitting the theme of this image as well. It's just so nicely done. You've got, the fence, you've gotten down at a eye level to where this fence shows a sense of height and restrictiveness to the horse. And, when you're my height at 4'8", that happens naturally. And I'm sure you're much taller, probably a foot or more taller than I am. But so to be able to, kind of see that and present it through the image, I thought, first and foremost, that's what got my attention, was the height of the fence and how this horse is being restricted by it. And I think you captured that so well, and he's reaching over. In addition to that, the color tones of the photo are really nice. And I think the sky is so pretty. It's soft in the background, so you don't have any harsh contrasts going on, no bright hot spots to distract you. So you did a great job with the exposure as well.
Okay, next up is Fence 1, Dan Steen.
Oh, I really like this fence. And it's reminiscent of the other one with the, how it transitions. It's a little different from one side of the fence versus the other, and you capture this really nicely. I do think, however, the fence on the left, the post that's coming off on the left side of the image, is a little bright. It's a little bit distracting to me, just because, I think not because it's there, but I think just because it's a little brighter than the one that's directly in front of us on the right side. I think if you could have balanced that out, and I know it's hard to do because the sun is on there, so it's naturally going to be brighter from the shaded side. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but so it's easier said than done. But I think that would have kind of not been quite so distractive for me viewing it. And even this image, I think, could have been supported really nicely in a vertical format as well. But aside from those tips for, from me, I think the colors of the fence are stunning. You got really nice, detail going on between the grass and especially the post, like right in front of us. And as it fades on back, the depth of field kind of blurs and softens off in the distance. And of course, on the right side, it's got like this barrier of all of these weeds and overgrowth that's going on the right side. So you captured that really nice. You captured how the fence is doing its job. It's not just adding visual interest. There's a purpose to it. And you kind of have a feeling of that when you look at the image. So it's a good job.
Next up is Enjoy Safely, Marty Bannon.
Thatcher Park again. yeah, this is a really nice placement of the sign, and a little bit of the angle that's going on with the fence. I also really think you have your lines nice and straight. It's matching the horizon, and so so for that reason, you did a great job with the composition, and of course, you know, a very beautiful colors going on, some fun saturation that you have, a little bit stronger saturation, but it's really nice overall, and the detail in the wood is really beautifully captured.
Okay, next up is Fence and Fork, Phil Olivo.
Well, this is such a whimsical touch to seeing this fork just kind of placed there, and how the heck did that happen, and who put it there and why. Maybe it's a Mother Nature that presented that to you, but it's such a fun photo. It's really funny. It's a little bit sad, you know, seeing nature, you know, having the effect of humanity sometimes. So, you know, a little bit of mixed emotion going on with that, of course, but, you know, that's the reality. And then the colors of the green leaves and the vines coming up through this fence are really beautiful. And it really is complemented by the pine needles on the ground in the background. So you have all this beautiful color tone, and of course the vines coming right up around where this fork is placed is really, you composed it all very, very nicely, and having that heavy rock on the bottom to ground the photo. So all of it really supports each other really well.
Okay, next up is Fence 2, Dan Steen.
And you know, I love that you did a really close detail shot of the lichen on the wood, and this, of course, this beautiful fence. And I think it probably could have been shifted just a tiny bit to the left, so it would have been a little more kind of leveled out. But even if you didn't do that, you did a great job. I love on the piece of wood right directly in front of our face, I love the little shadows and lights that are coming on, the little hot spots of sunlight coming in through the foliage. And I just thought it was really pretty, but you did a really nice job with the placement of everything, and the detail and the sharpness of the wood is nicely captured as well.
Okay, next up is Capital Defenses, Rich Schreibstein.
Another stunning black and white. The color tone of the black and white it's not, even though you don't have a ton of shades going on, it's not monochromatic, too like boring in a monochrome kind of way that sometimes can be captured. So you have a lot of visual interest, a lot of texture going on. The title is like, I thought really supported this image really well. And I love that you chose to focus your focal point on the building rather than the fence. So it's not like still in your face. And I think it could have worked either way on this particular shot, but I'm really glad you chose it the way you did. And also I think the composition and how you place those small circular windows up in that top deck are really, they're not cut off by the fence or anything. They're kind of evenly placed in there. So you did a wonderful job. Everything seemed straight and level as far as the composition goes. So you have an overall excellent capture here.
Okay, next up is I'm Not on the Fence. I'm in Texas, you all. Shauna Kaywood.
What a nice title. I love that this photo has such a pop of vibrant warmth on the left side of it that just kind of emerges right out of the shadows. And to me, that's kind of what spoke to me. Obviously it's a fence that's been there for quite some time. Elements are the elements and the heat, I'm sure in Texas, are causing it to just kind of break down over the period of time that it's been there, and you can kind of see a sense of age and history right before you. And I love that there's so much to see in this photo. There's a beautiful sky in the background. I saw that. And on the right side, seeing all these berries coming out, and the coolness around that area, and the cool tones. I mean, not coolness as in heat, weather, but the cool tones, the berries coming off the right side. This image really tells a story. And I think your composition is so beautifully captured. The foliage right down on the bottom, it's all nice and placed evenly. So I think you should be really happy with this photo. It's so pretty.
Okay. Honorable mentions.
Oh, all right.
First up, pick your side. Lena Keys.
I chose this photo because, well, obviously it's very beautiful, and we have a little bit of hot spots in the clouds, which is going to happen on those bright sunny days, and so we can all, we see that in the heat and the bright part of the day, and the fence, the way you capture the fence seamlessly coming out from the side, curving around off into the distance towards the right, and you see that there's such a difference in the sides of the fence. On one side, we have all these tall trees and like a sense of wild and wilderness. And then on the left side, we have some beautiful wildflowers going on, and it's not quite as, it's a little more tame on the right side. And I think that really spoke to me in this photo, was just how that was really captured really well. And the composition was perfect for this scene. So I think you did a wonderful job, Elena, and it's just a beautiful place to have visited. And I really appreciate being able to share this moment with you.
Next up is 14951, Dow Smith.
Oh, when I first saw this photo, I'm like, oh, I love it. And I love, it reminds me of when I was out in Cape Cod and seeing all those fences, and they're weathered. And this just brought me right to there. So I really love that. I love that you brought me someplace, and it could be anywhere really, but we know you're somewhere along the coast of someplace. But the weathered look of this fence and the numbers, it's so nicely captured and presented to us. A few pops of flowers in there and the weeds. I just think it's so nicely composed. I love the texture and the detail. It's so super sharp. But most of all, I think just bringing me a little bit of nostalgia, and I appreciated that from seeing this photo.
Okay, third honorable mention is White Fence Summer, Brian Hoffman.
I chose this photo because actually I thought the standing right at the corner, and how your horizon is nearly perfectly placed on the top line of that fence. And I just stared at this thinking, wow, you did a really good job and positioning yourself to achieve that. And, because the ground is never perfectly straight, and obviously, so the fence could not be perfectly straight, but you kind of nailed it. And it's such a really sharp photo. There's not a ton of, it's a little simplicity, I think, that's involved in this photo. And the sky, the clouds are really perfectly placed. If there weren't any there, this would be a totally different photo. So that adds a little bit of interest. And you've got the shadows going around you on the bottom of the photo. So I really thought you presented such a really, really nice photo for us.
And our next honorable mention is Boardwalk at Heritage Museums and Gardens in Sandwich, Massachusetts. Bert Van Grondel, winner of the longest title for slate.
I think when I sent you my choice, I abbreviated it. Well, this photo comes down to clearly the composition. You have this boardwalk and the fence seamlessly coming out from the photo. It's not starting like right in a place. It's just blending right in, coming right into the scene, and it's curved right around to the left side. And you've got the tree overhanging, and everything is exposed really well. The colors are nice, and I just wanted to take a walk here, with my own camera. So it's so beautiful, and I thought just overall that the capture was really presented really well.
And our last honorable mention is Overgrown, Linda Thomas-Zula.
Oh, I love the artistic and creative effect, and I thought that it reminds me of like a film infrared kind of shot. And so I thought, in all honesty, I really thought that the image really deserves to be 20 by 30 hanging on my wall. Like, I just really thought it was so pretty. It's soft and it's peaceful. I love the tree, the bark and the texture and the tree on the right side. These are little things that I'm noticing. And yeah, I see somebody wrote, it's like a fairy tale. It really is. I just thought the softness and the how much time it takes for all of this foliage to grow up and surround and overcome this beautiful fencing. I thought you did a wonderful job, and I really think that you really should be commended for this photo and sharing it with us. I hope everybody appreciates the artistic effect that you've applied onto here to make it a little bit different, and a little bit more serene and peaceful, and just add a sense of calmness and beauty to a rather overgrown scene.
Okay, our winners. In
Yay.
first place, fencing is a dead-end job. John King.
This is such a beautiful location, and I love the fencing that is carried throughout the scene. So as you look around, we see not just the fencing in the front of us, but it's also coming in off on the right side behind the foliage, and also on the left side, zigzagging off into the background. So the fact that you've incorporated all of that and added that in, I felt like you paid careful attention to your composition. And I feel like the fence is perfectly weighted on the bottom. You don't have too much of the foreground in there, so you have it weighted really well. And I thought that because of the composition and how you cared to pay attention to these, including all of these, details, it supports the overall image. It's so beautiful. Congratulations.
And fourth place, Teton Ranch, Paula Keefe.
Oh, super stunning photo. I love how the fencing is coming in on the left side, at an angle to the right, and it's carried right on through into the background. So obviously the fencing is just a beautiful superb foreground for this background mountain scenery. The only thing my personal opinion is that I feel like it's a little bit on the warm side. I would have liked the snow maybe to been just not quite so yellow toned. But I can see that you wanted to add a unique color tone to the image. So I obviously excluded that from wanting you to have a placement in this photo. But the beautiful effects that you've applied, I can see how the grass and the texture has been altered on the fence just for an artistic creative effect. And I thought that you did a really nice job in choosing those options for the image. The color tones and all of the textures and details of the various foliage going right from the foreground all the way in between the fences and the background of the fences, even back in the back 2/3 of the foliage, and then right to the pine trees way in the background right before the mountains. So everything is layered. Like there's a lot of beautiful layers captured here that just got my attention. So congratulations, Paula. What a beautiful photo.
Okay, and third place, Fence Life, Janice Pritchett.
I chose this photo because I love the composition of it and the colors, first of all. I love that it's not a super sharp photo. The contrast is subdued, the detail is subdued, and it adds a very surreal kind of vibe to this photo. I love the pops of red, the color hanging and climbing around this, the edge of this fencing, placed right on the water's edge. And I think that you did a great job, like obviously with the composition, like they're straight. It's nice and straight. It doesn't give a sense of anything leaning that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. The horizon is also straight. And I love actually that the fact that the foliage and the top of the peak of the fence is above the mountain range in the background. So it gives a good sense of height to the image without it getting lost in the background or being hidden by the mountains if it were placed otherwise. So all these little things just really spoke to me, and I really thought this was such a beautiful piece of artwork. Congratulations, Susan.
Second place, Zigzag, Janice Pritchett.
Again, it's reminiscent of my time in Cape Cod with all the beautiful fencing that they have there. And so I really had a sense of, remembrance for my own self. And, whenever you can bring emotion to a viewer, you did a great job. And so I actually like in this particular image that the sand is supporting the fence carrying through, and typically, or some of the other images, a little bit of the grass line, I said the complete opposite, but in this case, I actually like it. And I think because of the fact that all of the color tone of the sand is uniform, and there's texture and detail in the sand, and of course it's supporting the whole overall placement of where you are capturing this fence. And of course we get a hint of ocean and water in the background. But I just think the softness of this image is truly beautiful, and the exposure is perfectly captured in this image. And I just really love it.
In first place, Stairway to the Sunset, Shauna Kaywood.
Oh, yay! When my first impression, when I saw Janice's photo of the zigzag fence first, and I thought, oh my gosh, I love it. That's going to be the winner. And then I saw this one, and I said, I changed my mind. Talk about fairy tale. This is it. And I think the overall colors and the naturalism that's presented in the photo, the softness, this very surreal fairy tale-esque castle lurking right around the corner, it all is captured so well. I think the colors, the exposure, everything is just so supportive. You put yourself right at a great position. I love that the trees coming up on the left side and then the branches right overhead and some wispy branches hanging down over this old gated fence line, and all of the moss on the rock and the stone. It's so old and ancient, and it just reminds me of a princess stuck in this castle waiting to be rescued by her knight. I would say if I could change anything about the photo, I think I would have liked to have gotten maybe an inch more on the top, just to give a little bit more of that hint of castle and the height that is there, or maybe perhaps not there. I think it's just a little bit heavy on the bottom, so bringing it up a little bit would have it would have presented a phone call on me, probably ordering a picture of this for or hanging on my wall. But I may still, Donna, I may still give you a call for a copy of this. But I thought it was just so remarkable, and you should be super, super proud of this photo, because I know you must have taken this somewhere in your European travels, so we don't see stuff like this here in our neighborhood. So I just think it really truly deserved to win tonight, and I congratulate you, and I congratulate everybody. I thank you all for letting me view all of your photos and offer my critiques and my opinions and my maybe a few tips to help you see things a little bit differently. And as always, I really appreciate sharing the evening with all of you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Angela. Great job.
Yeah, thank you very much, Angela.
Great critique.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you. Great commenting.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, don't forget, everybody, get your images in by Saturday midnight for the general monochrome competition for next week.
See you next
We'll
week.
be seeing you all there.
Angela, you don't ever have to worry about making us cry.
I really don't want to.
You're too good.
No, I don't know. I just, I just like, as you know, I love photography, and just talking photography with anybody, and anybody has a need for help, or just, a photo buddy, or just questions, or, I just love to be there for everybody. So.
And she means that from the bottom of her heart. She has spent hours with me on the phone. Hours.
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 3 morning hours. We're cooking and eating meals over the phone sometimes.
Photoshop.
Photoshop. Help. A 911. If you have a 911 Photoshop emergency, please, you're welcome to call me. Just start the call by 10 p.m.
That's past my bedtime now.
Call me later than that. I need help. And I always answer.
What's your phone number?
We'll post it on the website for everyone.
Yeah, 514-887-9852. That's
You
my
brave girl.
Someone's calling.
Say that again?
I'll type it in.
518, what?
She's really putting it in there.
518-487-9852. You can always send a text, Photoshop, Lightroom, anything. You have an emergency, camera emergency, whatever. I do whatever I can to help you.
Also, people should join your group on Facebook.
Yeah, yep. Capital Region Photography Meetup Group.
Yeah, she set up a few meetings. I actually had to, I had to withdraw from your group because it was too depressing.
Yeah. Well, we have Lightroom and photos. I don't know.
No,
if
the
you
meetup group, the meetup group.
our meetup group.
Yeah.
I actually have Post-its on my, oh, wait. I have Post-its on my wall for various workshops that I want to do. I have, let's see, flower textures, which is, I want to do some like painterly overlays on top of the flowers and in the background. That'll be a Photoshop workshop. We're going to be starting a Lightroom series from beginning, how to organize, import images into Lightroom all the way up into editing and stuff. So we have a whole series of those coming up. And then masking is a big request people get from me, how to use layer masks. I think they're the easiest thing in the world, but I think people just aren't, they're a little intimidated because they're not, it's insecurity of what you don't know yet. So, but it's quite simple. But so we have a lot of workshops coming up. I do announce them on our group Facebook page, so you don't have to, join meetup.com and join us there. I do have a list of people that, are not on Facebook, but do want to join in. These will all be Zoom. All of these Photoshop and Lightroom workshops will be Zoom. So everybody, and of course, I meet people one-on-one all the time. So if you need one-on-one help, you want that. I have been, since COVID, everybody's vaccinated and stuff. Now we're being a little more cautious, but I do meet people one-on-one if needed. Not free though, but it's not that free. But if you're in a dire emergency, I from my heart, I would do what I can to help you. So yeah, feel free to join us. We're starting to post up challenges, our own photo challenges as well on our Facebook page, and so just to kind of enjoy and share and support each other in this photographic world we're in.
All right.
Thank you again. Bye, everyone.
Thank you
Bye.
very, very
Bye,
much.
everyone. See you next
Thank
week.
you.
And great
Good night.
photos, everybody.
Thank you, Angela.
You're welcome. See you next time.